Dry fire, dry fire, dry fire. That's all we hear in the gun space here on YouTube. But what does that mean and what is it for? So it is winter here in Alaska, obviously, and that means we can spend less and less time outside. It is about 3 p.m. right now and it's already getting dark, and it's only about 20 degrees today, and that's just the start of it. It's going to be getting colder and colder into the negative degrees for weeks at a time, and that just means you can't make it to the range all the time. So what can dry fire do for you? Keep on watching to find out. Welcome to Northern Concepts. Before I get started, I want to give a huge shout out to all my subscribers. In the last video, I told you guys that our goal was to hit 100, and we blew that out of the water. We're almost at 200 at this point in time. So thank you so much for everyone watching. I have a ton of stuff planned for this channel. It is winter, so we do have some winter focused stuff coming. If you're liking what you're seeing and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Now let's get into it. If you're anything like me, dry fire kind of sounds like a myth. How can you get better at shooting by not shooting? How can you squeeze a trigger, feel a click, not get any sort of recoil or accuracy feedback, and improve? It's a fair question, and I wanted to give it a shot as well. So here's what I did. I have tons of boxes from all the gun shit that I order all the time, and so I decided, why don't I put those to some use, and I started to cut out some targets here. There are creators online and businesses that do sell things like this, but why buy them when you can make them yourself? So just cut up a piece of cardboard, draw an A zone in the head box and on the torso, and use those as an aiming point. What I like to do is I put a piece of tape on the back and I stick them to walls around my house or to chairs or behind cereal boxes and pretend that these are targets behind cover, smaller targets than just a light switch or an electrical outlet. These give an actual silhouette for you to aim at, as well as an A zone for you to aim for. So if I have this behind a cereal box with just the head sticking out, instead of aiming at an electrical outlet, you're aiming at an actual target. Does this translate into live fire when you're actually at the range shooting? I can tell you it does. On my Instagram account, Northern Concepts Official, I was posting videos of me getting started with my kind of handgun proficiency training. What's up, guys? I've never been good at handgun. I fucking suck at this, I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to get better. I didn't grow up shooting handguns. I've been a rifle shooter my entire life. So once I started getting started, it was a rough start. Let's see if this next group is any better than that one. I'm such a fucking bitch, dude. Oh my god. So I decided I needed as much help as I can get, so I started to dry fire. And using this method with those targets, with the A zones and the silhouettes, it improved way more than I ever thought. The improvements I was seeing happened overnight. I spent one day at the range shooting, hitting all over the target, not great groups whatsoever. Spent that entire night using these silhouettes, shooting, aiming, aim small, miss small, right? That's a common saying. Aiming for those A zones, focusing on trigger pull, focusing on squeezing the gun and actually holding on and not anticipating the recoil. And doing so the next day when I went to the range to shoot at silhouettes, the silhouettes I was shooting at are significantly larger than the silhouettes that I made, and therefore I'm aiming at a much bigger target than what I'm practicing at home, and my groups were incredible for me. Who is dry fire for? Well, up here in Alaska, where the sun is down at 3 p.m. and you have less and less daylight to actually go out to the range and shoot, or if it's -40 outside and it is just not practical to go out and shoot, it's important to not let your fundamentals slip, right? That trigger pull, the squeezing of the handgun, and doing so in an environment at home where it is warm, right? And your gun isn't freezing up or your hands aren't freezing up. So what is dry fire used for? Well, it gets you focused on the fundamentals. Like I said, that trigger pull, the squeeze of the handgun, the getting your sight picture. Dry fire can allow you to nail the basics without having to spend money on ammo or to spend your time when it's -40 outside and your hands are gonna freeze to your gun if you're going to the handgun range to shoot. More than anywhere else in the world, I feel like up here in the north is where dry fire really has its place. For a lot of the year, it is too cold to go outside or it's too dark to go outside. Just because of these things doesn't mean that your fundamentals should be slipping or your firearm proficiency should be slipping. Is it gonna always be better to actually be behind a live firearm and getting live rounds downrange? Of course. But that's not always possible, especially up here. It's starting to get pretty cold out here, guys. My fingers are freezing, my ears are freezing. So let's take this inside, run some drills with those silhouettes. I'll show you the dry fire stuff and we'll finish up this video. Okay, so let's talk about drills. Now, I don't do any kind of special drill. Here's what I do. I have my silhouettes, and the way I place them is kind of strategic. If you can see, I have one here, one there, one over there, one over here, and one right here. What I've done is I've created depth, okay? So I've created movement, I've created depth. So let's say the drill is to start on this side, work our way left. We're starting here, we're moving down, we're moving up and back, we're moving forward and down, then we're moving up and behind cover, okay? Got a snap cap in here right now. So all we're gonna do, start from decocked, and we're just gonna get started, okay? Boom, 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 boom. Now what I'm doing is I'm trying to squeeze the gun. I'm trying to have a smooth trigger pull. Now mind you, this is a double single action. So every time I pull the trigger, it's heavier. It's way heavier than it'll actually be when I'm firing it with live rounds. That's a good thing. That should be helping you, okay? So let's run it again. We're gonna do 3 shots per target, 2 in the body, 1 in the head. Oh, forgot the drill for a second. Now what I'm doing is I'm squeezing, trying not to shake the gun when the trigger finally breaks. And I'm trying to get that dot to stay in the A zone when the trigger breaks. It's not, you know, there's not a science, but you get my method, right? Creating depth, creating changes in elevation, changes in depth, changes in just movement, right? The behind the cover is one of my favorite things to do. You just put a piece of tape on front, stick it behind something, and it adds a whole new dynamic, right? Anyway, let's set up a different stage. We'll see what happens. We got a guy behind the curtain there. We got a guy sitting on the couch. We got a guy on the lamp. We got a guy behind the couch in some pretty deep cover. That's going to be a hard one to get. Then we have a guy on the lamp itself. Okay, so those are where the targets are at. As you can see, again, changes in elevation, less depth, but I'm working on another video right now. Project for another video going on behind me, so I can't really turn around. So this is what I'm working with here. Let's do this. That one is hard. Okay. That one's too easy, so we're gonna move it. Let's do it again. Exact same drill. We just moved that guy way the fuck up there, so. Not bad. So I do recommend getting changes in elevation, you know, get a little bit of movement in there. You can set up stages where you're moving around the room itself, right? And that's definitely fun to do. I love doing that. Having something deep in a room like that is very realistic. You know, it's not like you're gonna walk in a defensive scenario. It's not like you're gonna walk into a room and the guy's just gonna be standing there. Like, that's not real. So anyway, let's move on to the end of the video. Couple things I wanna get to before finishing off this video. Your choice in handgun is gonna matter a lot when it comes to dry fire. So this is a CZ Shadow 2 carry. It's an awesome handgun, to be completely honest with you. It's double action, so you can just keep pulling the trigger. That's what you saw in the footage of me doing the dry fire stuff. Doing this with a striker fired handgun is not the same. Having to rack each time you want to pull the trigger. Will it work? Yes, but having a hammer fired handgun, even if you don't want to get a bougie one like this, like even if you got Taurus, that can be your dry fire gun to just get the practice, get the reps in, and then you'll use your actual handgun for carry purposes. Another thing I want to mention that's super important is these. So this is a snap cap. Depending on what gun you have, most modern handguns are fine. You can just dry fire all day long, no problem. But in certain handguns, hammer fired ones are on and off. Some are, some are not. This is a case where this handgun is not okay to dry fire excessively. Now, if I do it every once in a while, let's make sure it's clear, clear. If I do it every once in a while, it's okay. It's not a big deal. So that's where snap caps come in. What they do, they're just basically a fake bullet. They have a fake primer on the back, and that just stops the firing pin from causing damage in a firearm like this. So acts just like a normal bullet. Let's see if you can see in there. You can see that red in there. That is the snap cap. So now I can all day long just, right? Like it's no big deal. I don't have to worry about damaging the gun because the snap cap is in there getting hit by the firing pin and no damage is being done. Last thing, and probably most important thing, I saved the best for last, is this is different than this. These should not be kept anywhere near each other. Now, a lot of people say any live rounds should be out of the room. You know, there should be no live rounds around you at all. That's good advice. And if you want to do that, if you want to be extra safe, 100%. In reality, all you got to do, throw this magazine somewhere where you're not dry firing, right? So throw it in a backpack, throw it in, or throw it on your desk, throw it in the kitchen, whatever, right? Don't overthink it. It's obviously a safety concern, so take it seriously, but don't overthink it. You know, this does not need to be locked away in your safe while you're dry firing. Anyway, guys, so that is the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you guys have any suggestions on things you want me to do, I'm totally open to it, and I love reading the comments. I love hearing what you guys have to say, and it's super refreshing. It's super awesome. It makes me feel so good that so many of you guys are passionate about Alaska and passionate about the stuff I have to say. This is just stuff that I do, and I'm recording myself doing it, and it's awesome. So again, thank you so much to my subscribers. Leave a comment if you guys want. I really love reading them. Leave a like, and please subscribe. So thanks, guys.